Hey guys, I just want to kind of introduce you to an idea, maybe a tip tutorial that I've had. It's something that I use constantly in all my apps. I just find it really useful, and if you're looking for a little variety in the way that you do music or ambience for your games, this is just a little tip that I feel like can really help. So we're kind of in just a prototype map that I always put together whenever I'm trying to test something. The first thing you want to do, I always kind of just keep this at the forefront of my mind, is that have a content folder, keep things organized. So I always have my content folder, and then I'll have appropriate folders for what I'm trying to organize. In this instance, since we're dealing with music, I'm going to go ahead and just put together everything that I have here in the music folder. So music and sounds. And then in here, what you want to do is create two cues, and you can just do that by right clicking and go to audio and then sound cue. And then you can name one music cue and one ambience cue. And then you'll need to import your sound files. They need to be .waves to import them in UEFN. But once you've done this, you can get together, say, 2, 3, you can even go upwards to, 10 if you really feel like it. For this example, I'm just going to use 3 different music tracks and 2 different sound tracks. And what you want to do is go ahead and say, open up your music cue. And this is what we're working with here. You can kind of zoom out if you need to. Output, this is where the sound will come out. And then I will go ahead and grab all 3 of these and just drag them into here. And it's really simple. So we'll just go ahead and put this up like this, and we'll have all 3 wave players right here. And then you'll want to, you can see we have all these nodes at our disposal. And what I do is I go for a random node. And I will actually add how many ever outputs we need. You can add as many as you need. You can also right click on it and also delete certain ones. You can delete them individually if you add too many as well. But we'll just do 3 for now, and we will plug all 3 of them up to it. And then one of the most important things is, I know that you can set looping in here in your actual audio device, but sometimes it's also just really useful to do this. So I grab a looping node as well, and I put the output into a looping node and then that into there, so that whenever I play this cue, it picks one, and then it picks randomly, and then it loops. And then whenever this one completes, it'll switch to a random one in our selection. And then it'll continue looping, and just always do this. And this cue is set up essentially to just always constantly play music for your map. It's pretty simple, but it is really effective. So once we have that, we'll do the same for the ambience. And ambience can be even a little bit more unique, in my opinion. So what I'll do is, of course, I'll get our random. It's got 2 already on it, and then we'll grab bird singing and wind blowing, add those 2 there. And then what I'll do is, obviously, like for certain ambience tracks, you'll want them playing more often than others. So sometimes what I'll do is I'll have, like, say, one main ambience track, and then I'll grab a mixer, and I will put that ambience track there, and then plug the random as an output into the mixer. So this one will always be playing. And then whatever else we have here will be randomly mixed into that overlying track. That's just an option if that's something that you'd like to do. I do it on occasion and find it really useful too. For this example though, we'll just go ahead and keep it pretty simple. Same with the music tracks, 2 of the samples or how many ever you want. And then you will go ahead and plug that into a looper. And plug that into your output here, and then we should have some ambience that is random. So occasionally we will hear wind blowing, and occasionally we will hear bird singing. And obviously sometimes that can be a little bit too much, so you want to kind of mess with the volumes, which I'll show you in a second. Another thing you can do is when choosing the output, sorry, not the output, the random, you can actually choose the weights. And these values right here determine how often you will hear one or the other. So if you want to hear more wind blowing, so for index 0, that would be the first one that you have plugged up. And then every one below that would be an increment of 1. So index 1 would be bird singing. So obviously we probably want less bird singing, so we'll do like 0.25 as an option. And then we'll play the cue. The ultimate goal, of course, is that whenever this is done, it will go ahead and switch over and occasionally play a little bit of bird singing too, and you've just got a little bit more depth, a little bit more atmosphere in your games, and that can be so important for people that are trying to get their games out there and make them just a little bit more special, more unique. Alright, and then once we have those cues, it's also really plug and play simply. We want to have, 2 audio devices. I like to keep everything organized. So whenever I'm over here, not only am I making folders down here in our outline, but I'm also, our content browser, I'm also making folders in my outliner. And this keeps things organized on kind of the granular spectrum. So I've got a devices folder in there. I've got spawners for what's on the map. And then I've got an island design, which is, of course, right now just the grid plates. And then also I've got my 2 players, my Ambience player and my music player. They're just simply audio players that I have renamed to keep them better organized. Also, just random tip, please do not take these, the island settings or level bounds, and place them in any of these folders up here. Sometimes you can get some bugs that way, and just try to avoid that if possible. But then if we take this Ambience player and we come down here and say we want this at like 0.8 for volume, and then we always want to try to put a little bit of fade, 0.5 to 1, kind of depending on wherever your needs are. It's really just kind of up to your requirements. And then we will just grab this cue that we made for our Ambience and throw that in there. And now whenever we are enabled, always, it can be heard by everyone, playback speed, play location. We can hit it, of course, with our pickaxe if we need to be able to hear it, or we can do autoplay on gameplay, on create. This is also a really unique way to create ambience / music for your lobbies if you have a pregame lobby. And then, of course, we add in our music cue and do something similar over there. 0.5 and 0.5. Honestly, that's pretty much it. If you were to go into a game, this would, of course, play randomly and just add that bit more depth to your games. So, yeah, that's kind of the tutorial. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, stay calm and listen to Dom.